Okay, so now we're at question number 20 of the ACT English test. Let's begin by reading it as is. After all, there they are, colons, advertising products and businesses that no longer exist. Now, how does that sound as written? Right, that sounds just fine. So if I was going to use, again, my concision and my subvocalization technique, right, if I wasn't sure why one answer was right over the other, right, I'd find the most concise, the shortest one, the one with the least amount of punctuation, which in this case would be which one? Right, it would be F. F doesn't have any commas, no colons. It just has the words. We subvocalized it. We heard how it sounded when we read through it. It sounded fine. And remember, we can do this 80% of the time. And we would have arrived to answer choice F, and we could have moved on to the next question. But let's go through these other options and figure out why they are incorrect. So let's start with G. After all, there they are. Advertising products and businesses, comma, that no longer exist. Remember, commas separate out, for the most part, essential information from non-essential information. So what we would be saying is if we put a comma right there, that either maybe this was essential and this was not essential, or maybe we meant the opposite, that this was essential and this was non-essential. Okay, another way to think about it is advertising products and businesses. If we're going to put a comma here, are we separating out an independent clause from a dependent clause? Well, if we were doing that, right, which is why we would put here, separate things out with a comma, independent clause and dependent clause, I would need an independent clause somewhere, and I don't have an independent clause. Either on the left nor on the right, neither one of these could be standalone sentences. So there's no reason to put a comma there. One, because all of this is essential to understand the meaning of the rest of the sentence. And two, because I don't have an independent clause anywhere. So I could not put a comma there. It wouldn't make any sense. So that's why answer choice G would be incorrect. Now let's look at answer choice H. Now answer choice H has this comma and the word and. Advertising products, comma, and businesses that no longer exist. Well, this can be a little ambiguous because if we have a list of items, right, milk, eggs, and cheese, something like that, I would need a comma in the word and to separate out 3 or more items in a list. But in this case, look, I only have 2 items. 2 items. And because I have 2 items, I don't need the comma there, right? I only need the conjunction and. So therefore, this comma was not necessary because I don't have more than 2 items in this list. So answer choice H would also be wrong. Okay, so now let's look at answer choice J. And answer choice J would be incorrect as well because we have colons here. Now, when did we mention in a previous question that we could use colons? What's the use case for colons? Well, to the left of the colons, what do we need? We need a full sentence. We need an independent clause. And to the right, well, it could be a bunch of things. It could be a list. It could be a question. It could be some sort of an illustration. It doesn't matter just as long as whatever is over here modifies all the stuff to the left. Okay, so if we were going to put colons right here, right, and took out this word and, let's see if this is an independent clause. Let's see if it's a complete thought. Advertising products. No, that's not a complete thought. And because it's not a complete thought, even if this was modifying what was on the left here, I still couldn't use it because I don't have an independent clause to the left-hand side. Okay, so why are all of these wrong? They're all wrong because they're punctuated incorrectly. And in order to recognize that they're punctuated incorrectly, you need to know your rules. So if you weren't familiar with these rules that we mentioned just now, then you're going to want to get familiar with them. First one for G, we put a comma here, right? But there is no independent or dependent clause. And all of this information is essential, so I wouldn't be separating out essential from non-essential information. H is incorrect because it's as if I'm separating items in a list, but because I only have 2 items, I don't need the comma. And answer choice J is incorrect because I have colons here, but I don't have an independent clause to the left of the colons, which means that even if I wanted to use them, I couldn't because I couldn't use them without an independent clause to the left. And again, you would be left with answer choice F. Thank you.